Hey guys, welcome to Bootorials. I'm your host Craig, and today we're going to discuss in the last video we went through how to measure your feet properly for ski boots. And in this one we're going to go through a little bit more how that relates to the actual sizing of the boot. So the first thing we should talk about is Mondo point sizing. Now Mondo point sizing has a standard that's adhered to, and that is ISO 9407. Now this really just means that the size that you see labelled on the box refers to a centimetre measurement. Now what you think would be logical here is that centimetre measurement that you see labelled on the box would be the internal dimension of your boot. But that just isn't the case. You've got to think of it a little bit more that this size that you see labelled on there is more of a direct reference to your foot than it is the boot. Let me try explain a little bit better. So Mondo point sizing increases in centimetre increments. Now let's just say you have a foot that measures anywhere from 260 up to 269 millimeters. Now you need to start looking at boot shells that are in that 26-5 size. Now there are no real half sizes in ski boots. So you'll see most boots labelled these days as a 0.5 size, but it is just a psychological trick.
Bigger boots are these?
Now every different model of ski boot is going to be unique on how much length there is on the inside of the shell. What we need to be able to do is fit your foot, but also the foam of the liner in front of the toes and behind the heel. So you can expect the actual length of the internal part of the boot to be anywhere from 5 to 25 millimeters longer than your foot. But at the end of the day, you need to be selecting the boot size that in Mondo Point is your foot size. And now we have that sorted out, we can move on to width. And that is what's referred to as last dimension. So last dimension is the true width across the forefoot at the widest part of the boot. Now this number is based on a reference size that boot manufacturers use, and that size again is a 26-5 shell. So let's say you're looking at a boot which is labelled as 100 millimeter last. Now that is good in the 26 size, but as you start going up, 27, 28, 29, you can expect this dimension to be wider. And this is because they're taking that reference size and scaling it up and down for the sizing. So I've added a chart here so you can quickly reference how that last dimension will change in its sizes. And next, I just want to talk a little bit about volume. And that is how you are going to actually fill up the inside of this boot shell. So it's possible to have two different people's feet in the same length and width dimensionally, but one will look like a dainty little flower and the other one will look like a complete meat axe. Now you should already have the measurement of your instep, and this is going to be a crucial part of your fit. Now you want to have a good security here, but you don't want too much compression. Now people with standard and lower instep heights are going to be quite set. And the reason being is the boot will either work quite well for them already, or we can take a bit of volume away quite easily. Now it's the people with high insteps that need to be a little bit more careful with boot choice. And especially if the foot is very high, say 2 centimeters in circumference, more than the length of the foot, that you may have to upsize your boot shell in order to get your foot to fit into there properly. So beyond these main factors, there will be quite a bit of variability. So things like cuff heights, heel and toe box widths, but also overall shapes are going to be things that are unique between different boot models. So from here, this is why we want to do the most important thing, and that is get your foot into the shells so we can make a comparison of length, width, volume, and overall shape to see how you are going to be interacting with this ski boot. Now lucky for you, I've gone through this in a 3-part shell fitting series. So if you haven't yet, be sure to check it out right here, here, and here. And the last thing we can talk about quickly is going to be the dimension you see printed on the heel of your boot. Now that is the BSL, or boot sole length. And that is the millimeter dimension from the front of the toe lug to the back of the heel lug. And we use this dimension for setting up the jigs for mounting your bindings to the skis. And that really covers it. Now if you have any more questions on this subject, or if you just want to get in touch, feel free to send me an email. Thanks for watching, stay rad, be a patriot, signing out.